Bringing up Miller Moss, of course, he was on campus and in the program last season to get the reps in practice, to develop his body, his knowledge of the offense. Of course, a different offense at that point. But in terms of navigating a collegiate offense and getting those reps again in practice. So when you say he's not ready, of course, there's a determination made there by the lack of experience that nobody wants to see Caleb Williams go down in any such way, to see Miller Moss pressed into duty. But at the same time, we do see inexperienced quarterbacks who are up to the challenge. Is there any reports been out there in regards to him, legitimately not being ready, not taking in the playbook, not being up to it right now? Anything
No,
like
and
that?
actually, he made some encouraging plays in the spring game. He fired a beautiful downfield touchdown pass right in the bucket to Kyle Ford. So he actually looked pretty good, and he's developing, but he did have a slow start to the spring game, and in many ways, it's not a criticism of Miller Moss so much as you can just see the Grand Canyon-sized gap between where he is and where Caleb Williams is, which is pretty natural, not just because Caleb Williams is a next-level talent, not just because Caleb Williams had a full season of work, or at least 3/4 of a season of work last year, I should say. Spencer Rattler played the first few games of Oklahoma's season, but also because Caleb Williams has instant automatic built-in familiarity with Lincoln Riley's system. That's another thing that Miller Moss didn't have in spring ball and doesn't have this season. Caleb Williams is just automatically, aside from Caleb Williams' talents and experience, he has that specific structural advantage. So it's just that Miller Moss is operating with a lot of deficits, and the deficits aren't a reflection of him. It's a reflection of the situation that he's entered, a situation that's not under his control. So just in terms of how he gets up to speed, just in terms of how he gets to the point where Caleb Williams is in terms of having that automatic, natural feel for the offense, it's just going to take time. So just to be clear, it's not a criticism of Miller Moss. It's just getting used to everything involved in Lincoln Riley's system. The idea of Miller Moss having to start or play a full game, it's just not something that USC is ready for right now. And of course, Mark, you compound that with the offensive line's lack of depth. Caleb Williams, if the offensive line gets some injuries, I mean, that's bad news for USC. We all know that. Caleb Williams could work around that because of his scrambling ability, his improvisational skills. We don't know what Miller Moss would be able to do. That's just an extra big chunk of uncertainty if he has to fill in for an injured Caleb Williams and play a full game. It's just a box of uncertainty, a box of unwelcome possibilities for the Trojans.